Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. I want to thank Oil Simcha, Park Avenue Synagogue, for hosting this event. And I must say it's an honor to address you all here this evening, the esteemed rabbis, all the alumni and their families, and I'm humbled yet proud to have been asked to speak at this gathering tonight, celebrating the 18th anniversary of Yesod HaTorah. My wife and I are very fortunate people. You see, we come from very religious children. I suppose I'm the quintessential poster child, or rather, poster parent. And so I felt obligated when asked to speak. We owe a tremendous hakarat hatov to Rabbi Yitzhak Kayazi and his staff of rabbis, past and present, who were responsible for instilling in our boys pure love of Torah. Yesod HaTorah has been their home for many of the past 13 years. One night back in June of '05, Rabbi Yosef Semach came to my house, telling me that the best thing that I could do for my son Mickey was to allow him to spend half a year, maybe a year, in Eretz Israel, to round him out as a person and learn enough so he could pick up a Gemara one day and read and understand for the future. That summer was the first time I heard the name Rabbi Feyazi. Rabbi Shmuel Beda, Sammy Beda, my old classmate, arranged a meeting in the home of Morris Mizrahi. All I knew about Rabbi Feyazi is that he was married to Rabbi Sammy's daughter, and he went to YU. But I never heard of him. He wasn't a community rabbi, and he had a Persian name. After some major arm twisting from Mickey, grudgingly, we agreed to let him go. We all went to the airport to see him off. I looked at my wife crying. I told her we must be crazy letting this boy go. It was very sad, but we made the choice and we stuck to it. As fate would have it, we had my son Eddie's bar mitzvah a few months later, and we planned a trip to Eretz Israel, and of course to visit Mickey at the yeshiva. At the time, Yesod HaTorah was tucked firmly into the wall of Yerushalayim. We had an incredible trip, but the day before we left, my son Jack told us that he decided to cancel his flight home and stay in the yeshiva for a while to learn. The problem was the dorms were full. He ended up sleeping in a janitor's closet for the next few months. I think he even shared the room with somebody. Mickey ended up learning in Israel for 3 years. David followed, spent 2 years. Eddie and Joseph did the same. We sent them off, one, sometimes two at a time, rough diamonds, raw material, into what now had become the trusted hands of someone who would shape their clay. Have you ever seen what crude oil looks like when it's taken from the ground? It's thick with sediment and impurities. It's raw and useless. If you pumped it into your gas tank, the car's a goner. It takes a slow process of filtering and refining before it could be sold as gasoline. That's the way we sent our boys off to Israel, like crude oil. All you alumni out there, can you remember what you were like before you took that proverbial leap? Baruch Hashem, you and your parents made the right choice. Parents, you are praiseworthy, and I commend you all. You made that bold, risky choice. You sacrificed not being able to see a son for months at a time, for putting up with the miserable task of having to pack your son's bags the night before the flight, always worrying if the bags were over the weight limit, or the anxiety of having to rush to get to the airport 3 hours before departure time, or having to drop off a package to someone traveling to Israel because your boy ran out of his favorite shampoo. Phone bills, food bills, or the now infamous words, "Mom, I have no money in my debit account." In the end, it was all worth it. You got paid back 1,000-fold, and you'll continue to get paid back every day for eternity. Do you remember when your son returned home, and when you walked into the room, he stood up for you? Or got you a glass of water without you asking? Or not letting anyone sit in your seat at the dinner table? The level of respect went through the roof. The entire way they conducted themselves had changed for the better. The language changed, the music changed, and that crude oil started to look a little bit cleaner. But that was just the beginning. They dressed better, they woke up on time, they went to sleep at a reasonable hour. You saw the difference in the way they prayed in shul, the way they added a Devar Torah at the table on Friday night. And the bond the boys shared together in Israel continued back home as well. They'd gather for lunch or hang out at night in someone's house. Now that I think about it, I think it was mostly my house. So I got a bird's eye view of how these boys, who I had known since they were kids, slowly became Bnei Torah. Every trip back, I saw an acceleration of those improvements in their midot. So I couldn't argue with what they were doing over there or how they were being handled. Over time, that crude oil that was once worthless before didn't just become premium gasoline, it became rocket fuel. So parents, let me ask you all a question. You sent your boy to Israel. He came back a few months later, some months later, a new and improved version of himself. Now I know the air in Yerushalayim is conducive for learning Torah, and the food is great over there, and Shabbats are great over there, but who's responsible for this caterpillar to butterfly metamorphosis? Rabbi Yitzhak Piazzi and his pure love for the Jewish soul. Parents, we have much to be thankful for. That Siyata D'Shmaya kicked into high gear just when we needed it most. When we were making that fateful decision to send our sons to Yesod HaTorah. Looking back on that day, it changed the course of history for us. Alumni, the reason we're here tonight is for us all to stay connected with the rabbi and the yeshiva. Some of you have families of your own now, but never forget how you started on your road. You're different, you're better people because you made the right choice. So stay connected. A couple of weeks ago, Rabbi Diamond paid me a very nice compliment about my sons. He asked, how was I zocher to raise these Bnei Torah children of mine? I smiled appreciatively, but I couldn't answer him at that time. This seems like the proper time and place to answer that question. Rabbi Diamond, I know he's not here, but the answer to that question is, they came from Yesod HaTorah. Rabbi, close your ears for a minute. When I asked one of the boys how to best describe the rabbi, I was told, it's impossible. You can't put him into words. Give up now. This was worthy of a family discussion, so I went to the others and I asked for some real insight into the rabbi and how he was able to impact so many young men. One of them said, while he was in Eretz Israel, the rabbi was like a father to him. Another one broke in to say, no, he was much more than a father in every way. Makes me look a little bit bad, right? You could talk to him about anything. You could tell him things about yourself that you could never say to your father. He took us into his home. He fed us. He cared for us. He took us under his wings. His understanding of how delicate and fragile young adulthood can be allowed him to gently break through that hard shell young men can sometimes carry into adulthood for protection. He finds time to spend with each boy individually, getting to know them even better than they know themselves. He's an expert in breaking down a young man's view of Torah, life, and the direction he wants his life to take. He's able to penetrate their hearts and their minds by showing them the wisdom he's acquired from Torah through his sacrifice and his toil. Fiery, humorous, sharp-minded, sensible, and real. He is emet. Maybe it's that twinkle in his eye, but there's something special about him that makes it easy for you to open up to him. He's a master in debate, so when he brings up a topic that piques their interest, he gets them riled up, and that's how he's able to get the boys to see the true Torah perspective on life. His biggest pride is in seeing the diversity of his products and how they are not cookie-cutter kids. One at a time, they're given the skills they'll need, no matter what path in life they'll choose. It would be remiss of me not to mention the importance of the Rebbitzins' role. Regarding the yeshiva, the rabbi, and the students. She opens her house, which is already full of her own kids, to the yeshiva boys, offering them all the delicacies she's made for the Shabbat meal. Knowledgeable in her own right, she's able to quote Hazal on a dime and makes a perfect sparring partner for the rabbi. She is as much a factor in the yeshiva and a role model of what these young men will be looking for in a wife one day. She is awesome. There's a story about the great Kiruv Rabbi, Rav Noach Weinberg, from Esh HaTorah. Someone approached him mockingly, telling him that the Baal Shem Tov, in his greatness, was only able to make 4 Baalei Teshuvah. So how is it possible that you claim to have accomplished this with thousands? In his sharp-witted mind, the rabbi replied, looking at a construction site, one can be amazed at one worker able to lift a steel beam weighing tons with the slightest of ease. One could ask, how is this possible? The worker will tell you, I'm not holding the beam. There's an enormous crane holding the weight. All I'm here to do is direct it into its proper place. Rabbi Weinberg concluded, Hashem is sending a tremendous wave of those looking to return. I'm just giving them direction. Rabbi, while your young men are not coming from far-flung places, they are looking for direction. The rabbi has been divinely appointed to be the one to give over the Yesod, the foundations of Judaism, to those looking for direction. I want to thank Hashem for sending us the rabbi just at the perfect time for us. May Hashem continue to give the rabbi the strength and wherewithal to continue on his holy task, especially because he has proven time and again to be a trustworthy guardian of our boys. Rabbi, from the deepest depths of my heart, I thank you for my family and for my own growth in Torah. I started out telling you that I come from very religious children. well, they come from Rabbi Fayazi and Yesod HaTorah. Thank you.
I'm not going to speak now, I'm going to speak a little bit later. I just want to tell everyone, we want to keep this thing moving, we want to make it quick, but we're going to have steak soon, guys, no problem. But since there was so much food at the beginning, I felt there has to be a little bit of time for the food to settle before the steak comes out. So before we continue, a lot of what was written, as I thought about it, the yeshiva, so the story I'll tell you a little bit later, but the yeshiva basically started with one or two people. I thought it was only appropriate to have them come up to speak a few words, just, where the beginning, where everything began from. So the first one I want to call upon is Sammy Maya from Miami, Florida.
Sorry, I forgot to bring you the seashells from my phone. Just to begin, Rabbi Fayazi, I call him Abba. Like was just mentioned, is one thing we were learning when I was there is your more, your Rav becomes your Abba, where he becomes your father. So your father brings you into this world, and your more brings you hopefully into a place with where you can see with a telescope where the tzaddikim are. B'ezrat Hashem. So ever since then I've called him Abba. And this has to be one of the happiest days of my life. I got to Abba's yeshiva at 18 years old, and that whole life, that whole 18 years has doubled over. It's been another 18 years now. And to see all of you here, it's mind-boggling and it's incredible. It was just mentioned that we take that proverbial leap. I actually have a photo of one of my roommates kidnapped me one time, took me out of yeshiva, and we went hiking somewhere, and wasn't you? And there was some cliff or something like that that fell into some river, and I literally am standing like this while he was on the bottom of the valley taking the picture, and I jumped off, but here I am just like this in the picture, and that was what it was like jumping into yeshiva. But I fell into a body of water, and we know that water is put out. And I left. I took that jump, and I fell into Abba's hands, and I became a changed person. So there's not too many words I could use to describe it, to describe the amazingness of it. I was there this past winter to see the yeshiva totally functioning and incredible. And kol hakavod Rav, may you continue, and may V'esrim. The Rebbitzin many years ago asked me, I don't know if Abba was paying attention when she asked me. I was the only student at one point. And she said, why are you still here? You have friends here. I know you have friends here. You came with other people. They're in other yeshiva. Why are you still here? I don't know. I must see something incredible. I must have felt something. And apparently I was right. Here we are 18 years later, and Abba has built an empire. We continue to build, and Abba will continue to build with his incredible staff. Can't say enough about you. Hatzlacha, And thank you. I feel humbled for this opportunity.
Where Sammy was the first one who actually came, and we learned together for a very long time, just me and him, Chabruta. There's another person who came right after Sammy, and he ended up 5 years, 6 years, I don't know how long he was in yeshiva, but it seems like forever. At one point, the two of us sat and learned from, I don't know, 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. I didn't get home till 10 o'clock at night. And the yelling and the screaming that went on in the Beit Midrash was a lot of questions. Someone who's very, very dear to me, someone that a lot of you know, Baruch Hashem, you were zocheh to learn and to even teach here in the community. I have to call him Mr. Rabbi Eli Hakim.
Thank you, Rabbi. The rabbi asked me to speak, and I respectfully declined. And he wouldn't take no for an answer. Finally, he took no for an answer. And then when he spoke to my father said, "You have to speak." I really wasn't expecting a turnout like this, and I really wasn't expecting all of this. This is beautiful. The rabbi has it right. And we started off one-on-one. I'm going to share a little bit, I guess, this short story. I'm going to keep it short, okay? But I want to first off thank Mr. Andrew for his words. Polished, perfect, beautiful delivered. He hit all the right points, and he said everything that was the right thing to say. This yeshiva has grown leaps and bounds and has helped create this community. And wow, seeing everybody out here. I know so many of the faces. I know a lot of the people. I've learned with you. I've talked to you. I've spoken with you. And our connection goes back to those days in whether it was the old city or Ramat Shlomo. It's a tremendous time. First off, I want to say thank you to the rabbi, the Rosh Yeshiva. Our Rosh Yeshiva has been the foundation for all of our lives. He's helped us to grow. None of us would have gotten to where we are today, learning Torah, understanding Torah, without the rabbi's guidance, step by step, his patience. I don't know where the patience comes from, but it's a gift. It's Siyata D'Shmaya. And I want to say, like we say in the Berachot, Mish'an Miftachat Tzadikim. So the Mish'an is the Mish'an. He's the one who helps and has been with the rabbi since the beginning. I remember when Rabbi Schwartz joined the yeshiva, and Rabbi Schwartz says, "I have the perfect rabbi for the yeshiva." And he brought out a Mish'an and the fire in the yeshiva, the learning, the joy. Tonight is really more about Hakarat Tov and appreciation. Yes, it's an alumni dinner, but it's our opportunity to say thank you to all the rabbis, Rav Moshe, Rav Moshe Bakshi-Doron, who helped the transition from move from the old city and to establishing it in Ramat Shlomo, right? And giving us a place, a makom, to build up and to understand the learning and the growing. And Hakarat Tov, I guess, doesn't go without every Abba has an Ima, right, Sammy? So the Rebbitzin, unparalleled. I'm really working off the cuff here because I decided to speak from Friday night. I was given the request to speak as a Friday night, so I didn't put together a nice polished speech. But I just want to say this story. The story of the yeshiva is really the story about Mesirut Nefesh. Every single step of the way, the rabbi, and for those who don't, Mesirut Nefesh is self-sacrifice and giving of yourself and giving over until you don't think you can give over anymore, and then Hashem gives you that extra little jolt to keep you going. And I want to say that the story of our yeshiva really begins here in this shul, at least from my perspective. And Mr. Andrews can, remember back 18 years ago when the night program was just getting going over here. And I had a friend's father push me, you gotta go learn some Torah. There's a guy out of college, at party, I had all kinds of experiences. And learning Torah really wasn't something that I was going for, but he said, you gotta come learn. I ended up learning over here in the old Midrash. And from that moment on, the spark happened, and I knew I needed to learn more. I didn't know enough about Torah, and I said to myself, the only way I'm going to go and understand is if I get up and I go to Eretz Israel. I didn't know what that meant. I just know I needed to seclude myself in order to find out where to go learn. My father, being the old-fashioned guy he is, didn't want me to get too much. He said, why don't you go to Rabbi Sammy? I know Rabbi Sammy, he comes to me, he speaks to me. Go to Rabbi Sammy, I feel comfortable you going to him. So you can see the Siyata D'Shmaya in the way the story worked out. I ended up saying, whatever, Dad, I don't mind, I'll go. But my heart was, I want to go learn at a real serious place. And I don't know, Rabbi Sammy's place had just fallen apart. It was at the time of the second Intifada, and I was going, I didn't care. Fine, you'll send me, I'll go. So I went. I spent about a month by Rabbi Sammy, and I tried getting into Mikdash, they wouldn't take me. I went to Or Sameach, and they wouldn't take me. I sat and learning in Rabbi Sammy's yeshiva, and just things weren't right. So I walked into Rabbi Sammy's office, I'll never forget, and I said, Rabbi, I'm sorry. I left yeshiva as a little kid in 6th grade, and this is the second time I'm having to do it, and my heart's breaking. I tried everything, but Hashem knows I gave it my all. That's it. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I thought this is what I wanted. I thought this is what Hashem wanted for me. Fine. Thank you, and I'll see you. I went down to the Kotel, and I sat in front of the Kotel, and I just started talking to Hashem. It was between tefillot, right? So I just started talking to Hashem. I said, Hashem, please help me. I said, I did everything I could to get here. I got here, finally. I'm sitting in Eretz Israel, in the old city. I'm in front of the Kotel, and please help me. I don't know what you wanted from me. If this is what it is, thank you. I tried my best. Tears falling out of my face, and I just said, I don't understand God. I just don't get it. Gave up everything I could, gave up the opportunity for business with my father. My father wanted me to go to law school. I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to sit and learn the law, but just not the law he wanted me to learn. I walked up the steps from the Kotel, and somebody from Rabbi Sammy's yeshiva stopped me and he said, he wants to see you. Who wants to see me? The Rosh Yeshiva wants to see you in his office. Okay, I'm grabbing my bags, I'm lifting my luggage, and I'm walking into his office. I put my luggage outside, and he says, listen, I know you want to go, and the experience wasn't good here, and I'm sorry for that. There's a lot of things going on. Really, the yeshiva is not here anymore. He says, but I'll tell you what, my son-in-law has a place, and he's, maybe you want to go see him. Okay? He says, who's your son-in-law? Where can I find him? He says, he's right across the way, across the little square where the kids play, in the old city. If you know the area where the old yeshiva used to be, it's right there in the corner. So I walked in, and I left my luggage by Rabbi Sammy. And I sit down and I introduce myself. Hi, Rabbi Fiazi. My name's Rabbi Hakim. Gave him the whole story I just gave you now. And I says, I just came here to learn. He says, well, I have a yeshiva, and I'm ready to learn. I said, look, Rabbi, I can't pay. I'm sorry, I'll do my best to do whatever I can, but I can't pay right now. He said, that's okay. I said, then I don't have any place to sleep anymore because I left Rabbi Sammy's yeshiva. He said, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. And I said, okay, so where's the yeshiva? And I'm sitting in a group, there's guys speaking Spanish in one corner, guys speaking Hebrew in another corner, and they're all probably, 35 to 70 or 80. I said, okay, where's the yeshiva? I think Rabbi Fiazi was the only person speaking English in the place. He goes, you're looking at it. I said, you got it. If you're willing to take me, then you got it. If you're willing to sit with me, then Rabbi, I got a lot of questions. He goes, if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I said, okay. So I went and got my luggage, and that was the first day that I entered into Yesod Torah. So it was a sense of Mesirut Nefesh that I flew to Israel. It was a sense of Mesirut Nefesh that Rabbi Fiazi took a shot on me, and From there, we sat and we learned. And like the rabbi said, we went night and day, yelling and screaming, to where the old guys in the set place either took out their hearing aids or asked us to keep down, because we fought a lot. And we were trying to understand the truth, and the rabbi helped guide me and help understand me, help polish me up, and take this crude oil and make them into a little bit of something. I was there when the first buildings in the yeshiva started going. I was introduced to Sammy, because Sammy came back and visited with us. In our first, after about 6 months of learning, we had a few guys from Miami come in. We had a class come in from Brooklyn also. We had, who was it? Joey Adis, Mo Beta, Mo Carey, and myself. And the four of us just sat and we would just learn Joey about it. Yeah, and Solomon Shalom. Solomon showed up a couple months later. I wasn't going to forget you, Solomon. Anyway, the Messinut Nefesh that the rabbi gave over to help build us and to give of his time and to really help us to grow was something that we can't ever pay back in this lifetime. And when the yeshiva decided that it was time to get up and move for the reasons that it was time to go to Ramat Shlomo, the Messinut Nefesh that the Rebbetzin and her family gave to basically open their doors wide open to a bunch of kids year after year after year coming in and out of the house with all their problems, all their family issues, all their personal issues, and guiding us and rubbing us on the back and telling us it's going to be okay, and slapping us upside the head whenever it was the right time. That was what they did, and they became our family. Still to this day, Abraham still calls me his older brother. Where's Abraham? Rabbi Abraham, there you are. I remember Abraham when he was this big. Abraham, you're supposed to be sitting up here now. You graduated since you were this big. And all the rabbi's daughters, they became like little daughters to me. I can't believe I'm sitting now looking at Ayela and Sheva. Mama Jew, hi Mama Jew. Mama Jew's unbelievable. Every time Rabbi Fiazi comes in town, I fight with her and tell her, I'm picking up the rabbi from the airport this time, please. And it's become a family. And to see all of you here and see what this, crazy little kid who got on a plane to Israel to go meet with a rabbi who was willing to pour his life into the Torah and really make it mean something. You're the testament to all that. I've had the opportunity to even have one or two of you in, when I substituted or taught a little class here or there, had the, zechut and the honor to really teach. And to turn a guy like me into a guy who can actually teach Torah, that's nothing short of a miracle, right? I mean, that's the nisim and niflaot that come from giving of Messinut Nefesh. The Messinut Nefesh that the rabbi gave over every step of the way cannot be spoken of, really, because it's like you would limit how great the Messinut Nefesh has really been for everybody. And the rabbis that he's brought on have been the gems of the yeshiva. They are the pillars and the beams that keep the yeshiva going. I remember learning with Rabbi Schwartz in Baba Kama. I finished my first parak in Baba Kama with Rabbi Schwartz in the Old City. I learned with Rabbi Mishan, Halachot. How many times have you sit and learn? It's unbelievable. And every single one of you have been there. You know the personal, individual care and concern that every single one of you have gotten. Now, I know I've spoken for a little bit, probably longer than my time, but I just want to say thank you to everybody who's come out here, all the friends and family, the parents, Rebbetzin. The place in Shamayim, if I just get an invitation there, I'll be ecstatic, okay? And by the way, I just put a request in from now for some better living, all right? The Rebetzin's foods and the delicacies, a Shabbat meal by the Vayazis, you can't put it into words. You tasted the Shabbat in a way that you never tasted it outside of Eretz Yisrael. And even in your homes today, you only take a glimpse, you only take a reflection of what that time that you had in Eretz Yisrael. Ramat Shlomo, they said there's a story the rabbi told me once that Ramat Shlomo is actually could be, or maybe is, I don't know exactly how the rabbi phrased it, but it's from the quarry where they brought the stones for the Beit HaMikdash. And the yeshiva story began in the Old City in the place of the Beit HaMikdash. And each one of you are stones that were built in Ramat Shlomo. And I can go on and say a lot more, and I probably shouldn't, because there's a lot more great speakers than I am, and I don't deserve to speak anymore. But I hope you guys get the chance to really see the building of the Bet HaMikdash in Yirah B'Yameinu. And please, let's all give it one big standing ovation for the rabbi and his family.
Boys, before the food actually comes out, we're going to take a short break. Guys can enjoy talking to each other, take a little more from the table, and then we have another small portion, and we'll be finished.
Wow. Sometimes no words are better than words. I wish I could do that right now. If anybody has an excuse not to have words, it's me, because I really am with jet lag from the last trip and then this trip, and I'm spinning, and I was not supposed to speak. I was supposed to represent another Rebbeim, as I'll show you in a moment. But I'm just going to give a short introduction. The Shulchan Aruch writes, we're not going to do this, the Sfaradim at least, when you have the son is born, you make the beracha, Tov Amitiv. Tov Amitiv is when God's good to you and good to others. Tov Amitiv L'Acherim. There's so much talk tonight about sons, Abba. It's not just tonight. Anybody, all the Bachurim, can attest to this, and the parents, and those who weren't there, the wives, know that every single Grand Siyum at the end of the year, the highlight is the Bachurim referring to Rabbi Feyazi as Abba. That is very true. Rabbi Feyazi, we can make a Tov Amitiv tonight, and every single Bachur, every single son of yours that was born, I consider myself the uncle, Rabbi Moshe, the godfather, the cousins. It makes me want to sing Rabbi Moshe, what will we do without you? But I'm not going to do the rest of the time. Rabbi Feyazi, we got Tov Amitiv in every single Bachur. But there's something greater that's Shalom. Wow, another Tov Amitiv. There's something greater that's going on here tonight. It's not every individual. Rabbi Feyazi, we can make a Tov Amitiv on an entire generation of B'nai Torah that you have created, you and Moshe, and the Baruch Hashem, the Yeshiva, and Baruch Hashem, I have to thank Hashem for being part of that. Be able to be Zochet, to be part of the staff of the Yeshiva. But the Tov Amitiv is still a wonderful generation of B'nai Torah. When I came to the previous trip, I told Rabbi Feyazi, it was Misiun Nefesh together, but once I was here, I was just bringing in so much nachat from seeing the Bachurim, those who are in Yeshiva, and those who are going to work, and learning early in the morning, and learning late at night. And Mamash, that's Misiun Nefesh. Not too many people are zocheh for the opportunity to make a revolution. Rabbi Feyazi is one of those people Hashem sent him the opportunity, and Rav Moshe, we got together to make a revolution. As Mr. Andrew said, 18 years ago, this community did not look, I'm not talking about this community here, the community, the broader community, did not look the way it looks today. They had Bachurim, learning with each other in Ben Azmani, Yeshivot, the Ari Yeshiva feeds into, people working and learning. Rabbi Feyazi was Zocheh, and he took the opportunity, as I said later on, he joined the forces of Moshe Bakshi, and they made a revolution. This revolution is something that's going to last for eternity. Every one of us owe thanks to the Rashi Yeshivot, to the Rabbanim, not just for ourselves, but our wives, our children, our grandchildren, for Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael owes a thanks to Rabbi Yitzchak Feyazi Chaim Yitzchak and to Moshe Bakshi. I have to thank them for letting me be here, to be part of it. A lot of Rebbeim were not able to make it. Everybody, for whatever reason it was, I don't even know if not my school. But I know that they really wanted to be here. So I'm representing them, every single one of the Rebbeim, Mama Shalom, every single one. On my way to the airport last night, I got here this morning, 5:30 in the morning. On my way to the airport, I get a phone call from a Manchik. Rabbi Mishan, I wish I could have made it, but I couldn't. Please tell the boys that I love them. Tell the boys I really hope that, next opportunity I will be here. Tell them, so I'm telling you guys. I mentioned Rabbi Fayaz, Rabbi Schwartz is going to be in town. He said, invite him. Unfortunately, Mashkazai was not here. He's in LA, and there's a wedding tonight, so he couldn't make it, but he always asks, I see him every day, he asks about the guys, how's this one, how's that one, did you hear from that one, did you hear from this one? Rabbi Yellen, for those been in yeshiva the past 9 years, he calls me up before I left, I have a letter I want to email to you, and I want you please to read this letter to the Bachurim, because I can't be there, and I wish I could have been there. Being that I came to Israel when I was 10 years old, I'm not going to attempt to read the letter. It's in English, not in Yiddish or Arabic. So I asked one of Rabbi Yellen's dear Talmidim in the past couple of years, Rabbi Yosef Cohen, to please read the letter.
To all the alumni of Yeshivat Yisrael Torah, Mabruk to Rabbi Fiyazi and Rav Bakshi on the 18th anniversary of the yeshiva. You should be zochet to many more years of Hadbatzat Torah. To all the Talmidim, I really would love to be together with you at the dinner. I'm sure it will be a chizuk to everybody. I hope there will be another opportunity in the near future. At this special time, I'd like to express some of my feelings. The past 9 years, teaching Shalabet, are years of great memories that I want to hold on to. Chazal teach us that you learn the most from your students. I feel this very strongly. The give and take in the daily Gemara shir, and everyone's interest in the shir, helped you learn Gemara with more clarity. The participation of every guy made the Gemara become more alive. The other learnings we did together, whether it was the Musar Sifonim, Alakad versus Rav, or Chaim Brisker, all added to the Gishmak I personally got. I also appreciate being able to give some shmuzim to the Bakr. Thank you for listening to my outbursts in different areas of life. The Shabbatons at my home were inspiration for my whole entire family. Coming to Yeshiva for Shabbos was a thing for me. The singing, learning, the onegs, and the singing bakashot raised my Shabbos, and I hope Shabbos Kodesh, Heilig Shabbos, is still on everyone's lips. The Chanukah Masibas and the Shubatish and the Tu B'Shvat Tish and Rabban al-Karim are all part of the great years we had together. The siyums the guys made and the work from the heart the guys spoke at the Grand Siyum left me with feelings of inspiration. I enjoyed preparing Chaburas and got such nachas watching the guys say the Chaburah with the fire of Torah. Dancing at Karlin and our Svi Meyer Shvita was energizing. This summer we kept learning with Rosh Chodesh Av, which is another testimony to the great ratzon that the guys had. Over the 9 years I've been in yeshiva, my family made a few simchas, and all the guys' expressions of Mabruk to us. When I was in the States 4 years ago, the sheer took us out again, the connection I felt. I know I've not been so good at staying in touch, but I strive to stay up to date. Baruch Hashem, all I hear is guys are learning and growing. Every single one of you should be proud of yourselves that you took the years in Israel and made it a part of your life. Your whole future will be different. I want to thank all my Talmidim for the zechut of being able to learn with you and to learn from you. A big part of my own steiging these past years are because of you. I would like to give a bracha to everyone. We should all continue to grow in learning on Avodat Hashem. We should all have success in everything we do. We should be so glad to be together in Eretz Yisrael as Mashiach. I miss you all. I hope to be in touch soon. B'yidut Rabba and Avat Olam, Rabbi Yellen. And then he gives his phone number for anyone who wants to. 054-840-2906.
We have the honor of having Rabbi Diamond with us here, but before we hear him, I'd like to call on one of our alumni, Morris Tepesh. Moby.
Hey.
I'm not a little bit nervous, I'm a lot of it nervous. I have plenty of butterflies in my stomach for the past 2 hours. I'm not really enjoying it. Sweating, breathing heavy. When I followed our holy rabbis, Rav Yazdi, this party over here, this is way overdue. First of all, check out Sharamoni over here, Mike Miz from 2006. We got the 2004s back over there. 2012, what's going on? This is wild. The place is packed. Crazy. That clap is for you. I'd like to share, I guess, a little bit of my short story. I'm a Deal guy, grew up in Deal. Deal! In the house. A Deal guy, born and raised, Mount Medical, what's up? Pine cones and swirl are my friends. I know nothing about street lights in the depth of night. I grew up in Deal. I am a Deal boy. I lived in a rut my whole life. We all know about the rut. Us Deal guys, we know heavy about the rut. It's something that we live with, we grow up with. It's just rut. It's crazy. It's crazy, like insulated in this world of rut. It's crazy, and it's real. And we think that it's part of our lives. AG, you can testify. It's rut. We're just in this rut from Deal. Like it envelops us and it becomes part of us, and that's all we know. Party with the boys, hanging out. Not much more. A lot of rut. So, I went to Hillel, went to public school from 5th to 9th. I was not a studious student. In Hillel, I was in all the low classes. I went to public school. Actually, I did a lot better. The teachers cared about me in public school. I decided to go back. Well, I didn't really decide. My mother forced me to go back to Hillel in 9th grade. And she wanted me to be around the Jews instead of going to Ocean Township. She said, go back with the Jews. And I had friends, Mike Miz, Andrew, all the boys, David Shabbat. All my guys, I reminded me of Adam Jamal. This is I grew up with Adam Jamal. One time in the hallway, Adam Jamal. It was 4th grade before I went to public school. And we're hanging out in the halls, about to switch classes. And I put my hand around Adam's back and be like, just give him what's up. And And he takes his two hands and puts them around my hand, and so I'm not able to let go, and he screams, it looks like I'm choking him, and I got in trouble. I'll never forget it, Mrs. Brody. We grew up together, this is our life. 9th grade, I decided to go back with my friends. I had to go to the mall to get Hillel clothes, Lands End khaki pants, and those blue shirts, you know that stuff, right? I was wearing shorts and t-shirt, I got out at 1:30. Crazy! That's real. I was loving it. And I had to go back to Jewish school. I was introduced to a rabbi named Rabbi Joey Cowell, Park Avenue. I owe him a world of Hakarat HaTov. The first time in my life I was exposed to Torah, called it the living Torah, real Torah. And I felt something weird. I saw him for the first time. I remember walking to the back of the Dash with big hands. Hey, Baruch Haba, thank you for coming. Big man, huge hands, huge. It's a big smile. Shook his hand and enveloped my small hand and two of his huge ones. Shook it, and I was like, ooh, it's nice. Like that. And he gave me a seat, and I sat down, and I heard for the first time in my life, like real words of Torah. I can't tell you what it's about, Parashat, Mitzvah, Sharim, something, and I really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed Torah for the first time, and then by the end of 9th grade, I was going every single night of the week. Every single night of the week. I loved it. My mother, she was happy that I was getting involved in Jewish things. She's cool with that. And I told her when I came back from one of the classes, I said, Mom, she was sitting on her bed. My parents were divorced, she was alone. She was sitting on her bed. I said, Mom, I feel like I'm glowing. I was 9th grade. I was a 16-year-old kid. Mom, I feel like I'm glowing. I love going to these classes. I don't know what it is. It was the first time in my life my neshama was starving. My neshama was a poor African child, like, you know what I'm saying? The first time you're feeding it, she said, oh, more, please, more. And I was enjoying it, lapping up the Torah, and I decided I want more of this. I wanted to go to Gil Yeshiva. It was a big struggle. He told me, Rabbi Tal said, go to Yeshiva. It's time to go to Yeshiva. 10th grade came and went. By the end, it was a big struggle. I'm not going to go into the whole story. I got to go to Gil Yeshiva by the end of 10th grade. I separated from all my friends that were still living in the rut. I don't know if you remember. Mike, you remember? I separated. I started wearing black and white. Weird. I wore CC, blue ones. I got a black hat. I couldn't even read Hebrew. It's crazy. Not a drop of Hebrew. Not a drop. And I was religious without any sod. Wild. And like I'm not talking to girls anymore, and Joe Jamal called me a dirty rag. And I'm this weird guy separating during art. They sat on one table, and I was by myself on the other table. And I wanted to become religious, and I got to go to Yeshiva at the end of 10th grade, 11th grade. I never went back, actually. My books were still in the locker. I just left Yeshiva, and no one didn't know where I was. I was missing, like on the milk carton, where was Moby? I didn't go back, my books is probably still there. I had a major depression in 11th grade. A major depression in 11th grade. I dropped all of my old friends, who were my best friends, and I lived this new lifestyle, and I was extremely depressed. I dropped the party, I dropped the boys and girls, I dropped the rut, I dropped the party again, and there was nothing inside. Like, I removed everything, but then there was this gaping hole, and it was not being filled with anything. You know why? Because I didn't know you had to learn. I just thought you hang out with boys all day, and where's you seen the religious side, you know? And that was my life, and I got so DP'd, and I went back with my friends, but I still knew I wanted to be religious because I remember the feeling of Rabbi Joey Cowell's glowing feeling. So I knew that I wanted more of that. So I just didn't drop it completely. I knew in the back of the recess of my mind that I wanted that, and I went back to my friends, I went back to the rut, went back to the party until the end of 12th grade. We're going to Israel. Where? Mikdash Melech? I said I was going to Mikdash Melech because I really wanted to be religious in the inside. I don't know if you knew this. I was going to Mikdash Melech, and I couldn't read Hebrew. I don't know if that would look so good. I found out the boys had decided Mickey and spearheading this Yosef Semach also, or Fiazi, what's that? All right. So So try it out. Get to hang out with my boys, Michael Mizrahi, and Mel. My guys are going there, and let's try Fiazin. Legit Yesod HaTorah. Got a black hat now, and I know how to read Hebrew. Actually, this Yesod HaTorah that Rabbi Fiazi gave me, pause. I'm not just going to say Rabbi Fiazi. Rabbi Fiazi had amazing rabbis around him. Rabbi Mishan, Rabbi Schwartz, come on now. No, read, come on. I remember wanting to be religious, and I was sitting in the Bet Midrash one afternoon, and I said, Rabbi, I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, what's the problem? I see all these religious people, Talmidei Chachamim, they're so serious. I have a serious look on their face, and they're studying, and they're learning, and they're so serious, and I can't be serious. I tried my hardest, and I was getting down. I was really getting deep. Why can't I be normal? Why can't I be religious? Let me be a religious, normal Jew. I couldn't buckle myself down to be serious. And just to have that serious face on my face all the time, and be religious, and be serious. And Rabbi Mishon told me, he goes, what? What are you talking about? That's not religious. You have the most beautiful personality. I want to cry. He goes, you have the most beautiful personality. You're simcha, you smile. You're amazing. You're supposed to take that smile and help Klal Yisrael. I said, well, what is that? I mean, I don't have to be serious. He goes, no. He goes, no, not at all. Hashem gave you your beautiful, wonderful personality. Don't smother it. Bring it out. Use it. Hashem gave you that. That's for you to keep and use it and change Klal Yisrael. He changed my life forever. Because of that Yesod, I run an extremely successful kindergarten class. And they love my smile. And they keep on coming back for more. And my Talmidim, I have hundreds of Talmidim, whether during the summer, whether during the winter. And you know what? I would be in a rut, dead on the side of the street somewhere, if not for this yeshiva. The rabbi and his family, the Rebbetzin, Mishan and his family. You know how many times I went to Rabbi Mishan for Shabbat? You know how many times I went to Rabbi Schwartz for Shabbat? Changed my life. I was so DP'd, I couldn't read Hebrew. I remember my first time pushing myself to the limits. I said RB, I was like dying to be Chazan. My first RB ever in the Bet Midrash in the old city with these Mexicans. And I don't right? As a Mexican, I don't think they were doing that. It's crazy. There's like these glass pane walls, frosted glass. The guys remember that over there? And I was stumbling and mumbling, and I pushed myself to do it. And it's like, fuck $1 million. Build me up. Another Rabbi Mishon story. Again, with my lack of a base of anything, of Hebrew knowledge. Yeah, I'm ready to say this one. The whole year, I was also a little bit of a DP because I couldn't learn. I had a head as thick as a pumpkin. A pumpkin because it's very thick, the shell, and nothing goes through. So, that pumpkin head didn't get really so far the whole year. I was struggling. Not a simple, Abaya says this and Rabba says that, huh? What's an Abaya? Who's a Rabba? Like, what's going on here? No, they say about a cow and a gourd. Gourdings, what? What's a cow? What are we talking about cows? No, we have to understand. What? And I was so confused. What's going on? But I knew I wanted to be religious, and the religious people learn, and you're supposed to learn in Torah. And I finally understood it. That's what's going to fill the void of everything that I removed in my life. You have to fill the Torah. Rabbi Mishon, at the end of the year, I sat down and said, Rabbi, I can't do this anymore. I'm just so deep. What am I going to be? And he sat down. And he told me, he goes, Mom, stop crying, just do it. Stop crying and just do it already. With all the love in his heart for me. He took me like a son also. All the love in his heart, I felt it. Stop crying and just do it. And that was another turning point in my life. I was like, whoa, okay. Stop, let's just do it. All right, let's do it. Let's do this. And I started learning. And year one, after Rabbi Fiazi, I graduated from Mikdash. Mikdash the second year, then I went to Borough Park, in the Yeshiva Borough Park, and I went to Baruch Hashem, I'm learning in Kolel, Tosafot, Rashi, Rishoni, I'm learning Tur, Be Yosef. And Kai couldn't read Hebrew? Crazy. This is the success story, it's not just one kid. Yeah, man, I'm gonna call myself a success story. Yeah, I'll take it. Every single person in this room, every single person in this room grew, took lessons for life that they're gonna take them. I have children, I'm married. I have children, I'm married, I'm already, I run a kids minyan on Shabbat, I run my diamond school level. There's 130 people there. They break them out, they don't look like out. And you know what? I smile at every single one of them. That's right. Bottom line is, it's all about Hakarat HaTov. We owe them the world. If you like the rabbis, give them a round of applause. On a side note, I'm going to end here. On a side note, I really owe you the world, and also the Rebbetzin. I remember Ayala when she was a little kid. Where are you, Ayala? You're a little pitchy. And then you're a big girl, crazy. Where's that video? Where's that video? Yeah? Shlemele is, mashallah. This guy's a man. His beard. It's crazy. But I'd just like to say something. It's all that Hakarat HaTov. You like the rabbis? True. You like them? You into them? No? No one's into them? You like the rabbis? Yeah? You into them? We gotta make it possible for the rabbis to continue their holy mission. That's right. There's a holy mission that they're doing. They put their life into me. They put their life into you. Every single last one. And so what I've heard, it's not as easy anymore. The rabbi, apparently, I was just told, that's why I'm going on a limb right now. It's extremely difficult. The rabbi's got to go collecting around fundraising, and he's not able to be in the bed midrash as much as he'd like to. Meaning, I had my whole life, he devoted his whole life to me, he devoted his whole life to Hakeem, he devoted his whole life to this guy Sam, he devoted his whole life to every single one of you sitting in the stage over here, on the audience over here. And you know what, the next batch of boys are not going to get that, because he has the fundraisers. Oh boy, what do you want from me? What do I want from you? Good thing, what is it? What is it? So now, it's not, you don't have to be a genius to figure this out. There's a monthly program, which a lot of people run. A monthly program, which is going to help support our yeshiva. A monthly program, which is going to make it that Rabbi Fiazi does not have to be on the streets collecting. He can be in the Beit Midrash and giving his all. Those debates we had at nighttime, those boys next season will not get those debates. I know it's going to change my life with those, Rabbi. And crystal clear answers every time. He ripped into me, and my life is crystal clear. These next generation of boys are not going to be so crystal clear if we don't step in. My name is Moby. On the spot, I'm dedicating 52 a month. 52 every single month. If a boy does say $1 a day, $1 a day, you can afford $1 a day, it's $30 a month. Let's say there's 200 people in this room. 200 people, $1 a day, 12 months, $72,000. The rabbi has a $340,000 budget minimum. I just found that out. Minimum, $72,000. We're going to cover a little bit of fraction of it. If you can do more than $1 a day, that's great. I'm doing 52. Who's next? Someone. Let's go. On the spot. Hand up. Right now. What is this? AG, what are you? What are you doing? How much? What are you doing? Adam Jamel, someone write this down. Pen and paper ASAP. We are not forgetting this. 52, Adam Jamel. Who's got a pen and paper? We got it? Adam Jamel, 52. Perfect. Next. Who's that? 52, Michael Mizrahi. Next. Let's go, buddies. We're doing this for B'nai Israel. Let's go. Who's next? Liniano. How much? Whoa! Liniano in the house there. Whoa! $100 a month. Phenomenal. Okay, 101. The rabbi's knocked it. Dish out that extra $12 a year. All right, next. Let's go. More. Hey, 18. Beautiful. Anything counts. If it's from your heart to the yeshiva, to the rebbe, to the next generation, to all the boys that you wish that you're going to get. What you got? Let's go, more. Let's go, more. Hit it. Let's hear it. Who's next? Who's that? Nathan Nava. 26 a month, Nathan Davitt. Beautiful. Let me give a round of applause. Nathan Davitt, who's next? Come on. On the East Coast, what's going on here? Anything on the East Coast? No, no one cares? No one cares. Fine. You don't care? What should I do? I care. I care about B'nai Israel. I care about the yeshiva. I care about our rabbi. It's not going to kill his brain. Figure out how he's going to get the next dollar. Leo Marcus. What are you doing? One and a half. Leo Marcus. Let's go. More. Bring it in. We got another. $1 a day, $30 a month. Reshwek. Phenom. Loving that. Next. More. Come on. More. Sharamoni, what you got? $1 a day, $30 a month. Sharamoni, then you got that. Let's go. Beautiful. More. Break it in. Don't look at the floor. No. I don't want to see your face on the floor. Yeah, look me in the eye. Let's go. More. Come on. 201. My goodness. Abraham Nakim. Unbelievable. 4, 3. Yes. No one. 18 from? Ralph Suck. Another quote, guys. Polo guys are the best. Everyone join Polo, quick. This is beautiful. Polo guys are ripping the evening. 5, 4, 3, 2. We have one in the back.
Julian Saka, 101 a month.
Julian Saka, I love you. Phenomenal, guys. Let's do this. We're gonna do this. One last shot. Anyone out? The doors are closing. Don't think about keeping your money for this world. What? I said you're not gonna. What you gonna do? You're gonna spend on ice cream?
Leo Colette, 18 a month.
Leo? Colette, that guy, 18 a month. Oh, Leo, I love you. Nice. Wow! Tremendous! 601 shots, slap it down! Ezra, what do you say? For you? Oh my goodness, Ezra Sid, 101. Tremendous. We will also take money from your father. You know what I'm saying? There's parents here. I see parents in help. That was Ezra Sid, 101. One shot? No, this is Italy, man. 1,200, tremendous. $1,212. Okay, the doors are closing. Here they go. Don't lose out on your Olam Haba. Here he goes.
One shot. David Hakim, 1,000.
Wow! David Hakim, $1,000, one shot. Loving that. You have Maaser. Use it. You have Maaser. Use it. Give it to Rabbi Fiyazi. What are you storing it for? There's some random guy. Where's that guy? Look at Rabbi Nishon. He's so good. We don't want to give this to them? Come on. Last shot. 5, 4, 3, 2. How's that go to everyone here? You're very special. I know we love you. I think that I just did that. I feel like Harry Agnew. This is crazy. It's a big rush. He's so good out!
Thank you very much. I really appreciate everybody. We are very, very honored to have here probably the leader of the community here in Yale, Rabbi Diamond. He needs no introduction, everyone knows who he is.
It's a very big zechut to be here today. It's a zechut to watch you people open up your hearts, to help the yeshiva that you studied in. I'm a little older than most of you. And I've seen the unbelievable nisim niflaot that have taken place in our community. When I was young, your age, there was no yeshivot. There was one small yeshiva in Brooklyn called Magen David Yeshiva, and only went to 8th grade, and it was very small. The majority of the people of the community at my age all went to public school. And if you went to yeshiva by 8th grade, it was over. High school yeshiva didn't exist. And that was the situation in our community for years. From 1902 till the 60s, the 70s. And then about 40 years ago, 45 years ago, there was a hittorerut, an awakening. There were certain boys of my age that went to yeshiva. They were spread out in the yeshiva world. You could count them on your fingers how many boys were learning yeshiva after high school. Very few. But those boys started to do different things in the community. One opened up a high school with 9 boys shot into the high school. Mikdash Melech opened up with a few boys in Brooklyn. Kollel opened up in Deal. Little by little, people, after learning in yeshiva, Kollel start to go out and do certain things. And little by little, there was a hittorerut in the community. And this went on, and the base of yeshiva boys became bigger and bigger and bigger. But there was always a problem that row of the boys, after high school, even if they went to a yeshiva high school, most of them after they graduated high school, that was a bad year. There were very few that continued. And then suddenly there was hittorerut of opening up yeshivot in Eretz Yisrael. And suddenly boys from high school decided to go to Eretz Yisrael. Most of them, when they went, had no idea what they're doing. We'll give a year. Before we start work or college, we'll go to Israel for a year. And there were yeshivot there that started to be collected. And this yeshiva, Rabbi Piazzi, that he opened, is one of those yeshivot that will later on, when the whole history of our community will be written, will be one of the seminal acts in our community. Because now there's a place of inspiration that boys are now going to Israel. And after they go to Israel, they learn a few years, they become different people. Literally transformation. You heard how he spoke, the transformation he made. He finally learned how to speak Hebrew. Then he learned how to learn. Then he learned how to grow, and now he learned how to teach. And repeat this story with all of you, one after another. And then there had to be opening up yeshivas in our community to again get the boys that are coming back from Israel to be able to continue learning. Our Kollel among them. Baruch Hashem, you have yeshivot all over. That are now Kollel, the boys that are going to Israel, learning in Israel and growing and coming back. And if we didn't have these yeshivot in Israel, this movement would be stopped in its track. Because it's very hard for a boy graduating high school to go directly to a regular yeshiva. But the Israel experience, away from his old friends, away from the old habits, away from the old distractions, going to Israel and suddenly getting a taste, a real taste of learning, of Judaism, of spirituality, of Ruchaniyut. And suddenly the boys are coming back with inspiration to continue and grow and learn, to learn after marriage, Kollel. And now you have, Baruch Hashem, a tremendous movement in our community, from every high school. They're very from high schools and not so from high school, but the boys are going to Israel and they're getting chap. And they're becoming boys that are interested in continuing their learning. When they come back, the learning continues. And these boys are growing into true Talmidei Hachamim at the highest level. And they're filling up, and yeshivas are opening up for them. This is a nes, nigla. This is something that has transformed our community in ways that we can't understand how big it is unless you go all the way back and see the whole growth. You boys were born in the middle. But I saw it from the beginning. I saw it when the whole community went to public school, and now the whole community is going to yeshivot, and after yeshivot going to Israel, and so many are getting chapped by true Torah, real Torah. I remember many years ago, I spoke to my father, Rabbi Davis, when I was first opening up the Kollel. This was in 1977, 41 years ago. And I was working, trying to build the Kollel. We opened up ultimately in 78, but in 77 is when I was working on it. I remember there was a point where I got very discouraged. Didn't see that there was any support for it. I remember Rabbi Davis told me, you don't believe in the Godel and the Shema Yisrael? You don't believe in the tremendous Neshama of a Jew? Give him true Torah. Give a Jew true Torah. Torah L'Shem Shemayim. Torah without all the innovations. Torah L'Amitatam. And you will see that the Neshama of Israel will be ignited, will be awakened. And you will see it happen. And he was almost like a Navi predicting it, because that was in the very beginning when the whole movement started. Before we had yeshivot, before we had Shalei Torah, Ateret Torah, YBE, before we had any of these yeshivot, Rabbi Davis saw the greatness of the Neshama of a Jew. And he says, all you have to do is give true Torah to a Neshama, to a Jewish soul, and that Jewish soul will become inflamed, will become ignited. And we've seen over the last 40 years this happen. But a great, great chalik of that growth was the Israel connection. Because without Israel, it's very hard to get the boys. Even they go to the best yeshivot, very hard to get them to continue. But the Israel connection did it. And this yeshiva is one of the yeshivot that produces really the best boys, because we get boys and now yeshiva from all the yeshivot. Baruch Hashem. Each one is doing special jobs. But the boys that come from this yeshiva have a certain seriousness, a certain depth that we don't see so often in the other boys. They're all good, but there's something special here. And that's why I want to give a tremendous Hazaka Baruch, Rabbi Fiazi, and the entire staff. For opening up a yeshiva that can collect boys that have no experience whatsoever in learning. Like the previous speaker said, didn't know how to read Hebrew. And yet be able to touch these boys and develop them in a way that they become serious Talmidei Chachamim, and give them inspiration that when we return back to America, they continue their learning and they all be chayil of chayil. So really, Hazaka Baruch to this yeshiva, Hazaka Baruch to all of you who are supporting the yeshiva, and we should only see berachot and haslachot in this yeshiva and all the yeshivot, all the Bnei Torah, ad b'yas Mashiach Tzidkenu. We all said it, Amen. Amen.
Rabbi Diamond, the beautiful words. I appreciate his time. He's very busy. He came from a wedding. It's very special to have had him here. Thank you, Rabbi. Okay, I really want to conclude tonight, although I'm having fun. I could go on for a long time, but I think we could begin to wrap things up as the dessert comes out, which is very important, right after the steak. Before I tell you what I want to tell you, Gemara tells us, Potchim Yichvod Achsanya. In this case, it's not only Ohel Simcha, my dear friend, Mr. Richie Andrews, who helped us very much in getting tonight together, but there's a lot of other people that I have to thank before I even say what I want to say. First and most important, there are two boys, Eli Belhassan and Shlomo Dankor. idea, which I said no to, it's never gonna work. Forget it. They didn't let go. They kept pushing me and pushing me and pushing me until I said, you know something, maybe. And they pushed through this. Together, of course, with my son Abraham, who always takes care of everything. And especially Shlomo, his mother, Mrs. Dancourt, his brothers, his father. Everybody took part in this and made this evening really possible it's beautiful, wonderful, great success. Shlomo was the perfect nudnik. He bothered me 3-4 times every single day. Rabbi, did you do this? Rabbi, did you do that? And Baruch Hashem, I did it because I was afraid he's going to call next and I'm not going to say I didn't do it yet. So thank you, Shlomo. Again, of course, the yeshiva, I thank Rabbi Baruch Mishan and the entire staff for everything they do for us. But most important of all, I have to ask Rabbi Moshe Bakshi, who is my partner in everything I do. We're not going to do the song now. I want to tell you guys something. Other than Rabbi Moshe does so much, and he really does, there's something Rav Moshe does for me that no one else does. And that is, like I said, Rav Moshe, I need you. I have someone to talk to. I've said this to him before, I want to say it to you publicly. Some of you may have noticed. He's one of the smartest people I know, really. He's life smart. He can pick it out in a second. He's a sharpshooter. He knows what he's talking about, and I always know if I need a clarity on something, I go to Rav Moshe, we talk it out, and he clarifies. Rav Moshe, you're the best. That's all I can say. Of course, I have to thank the boys for showing up, because without you guys, there'd be nothing. You guys are the best. There is no way any of this would have happened tonight if there would not have been a yeshiva 18 years ago. And there's no way any of this would have happened if it wasn't for my parents, Dr. Fayazi and Mrs. Fayazi. Tremendous Mesiut Nefesh they had. We just had a celebration for my father, and I'm not going to say the story here, but I said it among the family. The tremendous Mesiut Nefesh, really, honestly and truly, that they had for us from the time I was 12 years old, and they pushed us to yeshiva, and they wanted us to learn. And a lot of what we have today, if it wasn't for them and their push, none of it would have happened. So, thank you, Dad and Mom. And Acharon Chavir, all jokes being put to the side, where would I be without my wife? Everyone knows, Sheliva Shalatem Shelamu, where is she? Thank you. I once heard a class where the rabbi asked a very interesting question. You know that every word in the Torah is important. Every letter, you can learn halachot. Rabbi Akiva, kitrei otiyot, from letters, from the tag, the crowns on the letters, you can learn tilei tilim shavalachot. Every letter, every crown, everything is important in the Torah. So why on earth did HaKadosh Baruch Hu go through such a long explanation of Yaakov Avinu? He wanted to marry Leah and Rachel, he ended up marrying Leah, and then this happened to Rachel, and that happened to Leah, and it is so long, such a long story. Why? Why is it so important? He had a wife, he had another wife, well, that's not, you can say that in a few sentences and you're done. Why does the Torah go into such detail explaining the whole story? And it's a beautiful class, it's an hour, we're not going to say it over. But the answer in short was that the Torah goes through that detail because the story of Yaakov Avinu and his two wives, Rachel and Leah, is the story of every one of us. Because every one of us, in short, don't ask me to explain it now, it's too long. Every one of us wants to marry Rachel and ends up with Leah. But that's the way it should be, and he goes on to explain it. Anyone interested, I'll tell you where you can listen to the class. Why do I bring this up? Because a lot of what I prepared to say was already said by everybody else. What can I do? I'm the last one to speak. From the alumni, from everybody. But I just want to repeat something in short and leave you with a message. The story of the yeshiva, the story of what I see right now standing up here and looking at everybody, and I'm so touched by seeing people from 18 years ago all the way to today. The story of the yeshiva started against all odds with one student, two students. Looking back, I don't know how I did it. I don't know how they did it. How did I do it? You know, at that time, my children asked the question. I don't want to get into the politics right now, but there was a certain politician who ended up in jail, and it was the hot story of the time. So one of my daughters turned around to my wife and said, "Who does Abba think he is? That guy? We don't see him anymore." Because what happened? I would leave the yeshiva. I would leave my house at 7 o'clock in the morning before they woke up. And I came home, depending on how much I fought with Avi, around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. And I would only see my kids on Friday night. My wife once cried to me, she said, "You know what you are?" He said, "You're like the Shabbat candles. We only see you Friday night." Because in the daytime you fall asleep after the chon. That's what you are, you're a father of Shabbat candles. But the message is, with Mesiut Nefesh, if you really believe in something, and I don't want to go into the list of the people who told me don't do it, it's never going to work, it's never going to happen. Baruch Hashem, I don't listen to nobody, and I believed in it, and I knew it would take a long time, but I knew it would happen. And Baruch Hashem, it happened. And this is really, the story of every one of us. Every one of us has all of their struggles. And when you think it's not going to work, and when it looks like it's going to happen, you just have to be patient, and you have to let HaKadosh Baruch Hu do the driving. You have to say thank you to, I have to say thank you to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one who makes it happen, and the more you know that, the more you get out of his way, the more you're going to see it happen. Tonight is a celebration of 18 years. You look in the back of the invitations, those of you who got it, not everybody did, but that's my fault. It says on the back of the invitation, Chai Shenot Torah, 18 years of Torah. We've been doing this for 18 years. Moby spoke about Hakarat Torah, and I also want to speak about Hakarat Torah. The purpose of tonight, the reason I agreed, like I said, I didn't really believe it could happen, but the reason I believed in it is because I saw that there are many boys, a lot of them sitting here tonight, that I haven't spoken to you in 4 or 5 years. I'm limited, and I'm not a malach, or a limited amount of time. But as HaKadosh Baruch Hu is my witness, I love every one of you guys. And I wish I could spend an hour speaking to everybody, but hello, it doesn't happen, there isn't enough time. The purpose of tonight is that we should all get together again, to again feel the family, to again feel connected. I'm hoping we will do this, I don't know, maybe next year, maybe in 2 years, whenever we do it again. Be'ezer Hashem will bring all the rabbis together. We should all be able to meet together and reconnect together. And the reason that's important is, there's 2 reasons why that's important. Number 1, it gives us a chizuk. A lot of boys here know how much I spoke about closing down the yeshiva and opening a pizza shop. Because a pizza shop is much easier. Yeah? You come in 11 o'clock, you roll the dough, you collect the money, you clean up, and you go home, and that's it. The yeshiva doesn't work that way. It's more difficult. I want to tell you guys, when I look here, when I sit around, and when I see the boys here, and what everyone here became, it's a chizuk. It gives us a chizuk. And it makes me want to do it again, so I'm here to announce that I'm not opening a pizza shop, and I will probably not mention that again. This is much bigger. your hakarat hatov. And your hakarat hatov is to take everything that you got, Baruch Hashem, I think you got from the yeshiva, and do not keep it for yourself. Start giving it to everybody else. There are so many people out there. We live in a time, as the Nabi says, Hinei yamin va'im, v'shalachti ra'av ba'aretz. The days are coming, Hashem says, when I'm going to send out a hunger. Lo ra'av la'lechem. Not a hunger for bread. Ve'lo tzam alamayim. Not a thirst for water. Ki im lishmoa livrei Hashem. People want to hear the words of Hashem. That's the generation we live in. Many years ago, I had the zechut of learning Rabbi Ovadia Yosef alav shazeh tzaddik lebracha in his kollel. His son-in-law ran the kollel, I lived in that kollel. And Baruch Hashem, after a couple of years, we got our smicha. And then we sat at a dinner, Chacham Ovadia spoke, as we were celebrating the smicha, and they gave us the actual smicha. The rabbi said, Rabotai, you're not giving your smicha. He says, don't make the mistake of keeping it for yourself. He said he knows of a certain kollel in a certain city, which we won't mention, where the grandfather, the father, and the son sit on the same bench learning in the kollel. He said, Ha'am sme'im, shalachti ra'av ba'aretz, ki im lishma livrei Hashem. There's a lot of people out there who want to hear the words of Hashem. I'm asking you, please, as a hakarat hatov to me and to the rabbis, to go out and to give it. There are many boys sitting here right now that I know. There are some boys, one who is now in Israel, who couldn't be here tonight, he's on vacation. There are many boys that went through the yeshiva that today are teachers, that are teaching other boys. Please, let's every one of us. It doesn't have to be you're giving a speech to a class. It could even be a chavruta at night. Take the Torah you have and give it over. And I want to tell you, a lot of boys have heard this before. I'll repeat it one more time, and with this I conclude. Hopefully, if I don't think of another story. A lot of boys have heard this before. I honestly and truly believe this, and anyone who thinks back will know. Baruch Hashem, I am in the best business in the world. Because you can take all of your money, and you can put it wherever you want, and you can put it in the greatest stock, and do, I don't know, whatever you want. But if you take one boy and you teach him, and that boy teaches another boy, I know that the yeshiva, our yeshiva, every yeshiva, it's not just particular to us, every one of us, me, Rabbi Mishan, Rabbi Moshe, when we take a boy and we teach him, and that boy goes out and he teaches somebody else, guess what? That's my sachar. If there was a person today, at least one person I can think of right now, who's now in Israel, he's on vacation, but he's a person that I know 100%, before he came to the yeshiva, he was not dedicated to Torah. In fact, he fought me a lot. And something, Baruch Hashem, clicked, and now he's giving classes all over the place. And that means his students are my students, and their students are my students. And I am happy, and Rabbi Mishan is happy, and Rabbi Moshe is happy. And that's the best hakarat hatov. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming. Bruchim to you. I hope you all stay in touch. One more thing. I've said this before, I'll say it again. It is very difficult for us, like one boy says, hey Rabbi, how come you never called me? I'm going to answer that question right now. There's about 350 of you, and it's very hard to call every one of you. Be'ezrat Hashem, I will make an effort from now on to call. But please, you guys pick up the phone every once in a while. Hey Rabbi, what's going on? How's everything? That gives us the chizuk. That gives us the ability to want to give more to you. Again, looking to you. Thank you very much for coming.